Thank you so much for joining me. Polina here talking to you a little bit about October 2024. And we are going to be going mainly through the sign of Libra and then onwards to Scorpio as usual. And we do have an eclipse at the beginning of the month in a second. So sorry about the lateness for that video, but let's keep going. So here are the charts, of course, for this month of October. And let's make it very clear as to what we do and do not want in our lives. If you're really stuck as to how to look at this rule book of Libra and what it is that you are and are not, and what you like and would not like, as you can hear by my voice, this can kind of be a little bit of a strange, stroppy or challenging time as to where we are and are not going in the future, being kind of dependent on this law-making time. The best I can do for you here is just to relax, and heaven is already here. For those of us that are living in heaven, quote unquote, that are already kind of crossed into this more pure-hearted, brilliant and loving planet, and accepting our lives as easy, simple, pleasurable, wonderful, curious and amazing lives, for those of us that have designed a timeline already that's based on just the purity and curiosity and simplicity. You don't have to question anything. It's already there for you. The grass is green, the sky is blue, everything and everybody's already there. For a human that has become grateful and very undoubtful in the creator and the creative force of this world. For those of us that don't have any faith inside ourselves and the future, we of course have those boring methods of doing things that we don't want to do. We've got the money that we don't want to make anymore the way that we make it. We've got the friends that just keep on dragging us down. We've got everything like that. We've got like illnesses and things like that. So if you are dragging your feet during Libra, make sure it's not becoming part of your identity, because Libra likes to put things in a box. And sometimes, although it sounds like a Sims game type of thing, it's not a Sims game. It just like sounds really stupid to some people. We will be sometimes looked at in a very simplified, simplistic way. So what Libra does not want is agility and extra charm and extra money being spent or extra things being done. She doesn't actually necessarily like that. The better part of Libra is actually a certain type of neutrality and lack of ego or lack of corruption. And we do have Lilith very close to the sun there as we're starting this month. And there is like a question of corrupt behavior, corrupt people, Venus going for Scorpio and then moving on to Sagittarius, which are both hard signs for Venus to be in. And as Mars also going through the debilitating sign of Cancer there's going to be quite a lot of us that are very foolproof and bulletproof and will be saying, you can't say that to me, you can't market that to me. Who do you think I am? Look at my degree, look at my qualities, look at my qualification, or like, how come these people have put me down, or why do these people not want me there? Why does it pain me so much to be in this world? So why? So we have a lot of why. The question is endless and it's needless. The best qualities you already have. Dragon is for keeps. Everything and anything that takes place now especially is like, yeah, you have to understand this is becoming an ingrained in the most quality of yours, or it is becoming like a real shame sometimes. Like things can be truly a shame during this time, like chronic fatigue, illness, depression, also any kind of escalations that you have had in your life, going back and forth, making money the way that you don't want to make it, having friends that you don't like, being in pieces, and also not having peace and trust in life, that is going to eventually start to swallow you whole. So the idea basically is how to do it, even if it sounds silly to you. Try to follow me on this. Affirmations. Tell yourself that you are beautiful every single day. Tell yourself that you have done the right thing. Even if you don't like the house where you're staying, just say, this is a perfect home. Just say it. You can even put that on a little board, or like write it in a book. You can make it anything you'd like to make it. You can tell other people that you are doing wonderful, even if you are doing terribly. Now, this is something that people hate. They're like, how dare you? Don't tell me that. I don't want to make small talk. I don't want to be just one of the guys. I don't want to be just one of the passers-by. I don't want to be one of the learners here. Now, this is where the big ego comes out. And people don't want to be skimmed past or passed by. It's like, hey, 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 I am this. How dare you talk to me like this? So this is very much Libra's shadow quality, vanity, and exceptional need for respect, and exceptional need to be desired, loved, and obsessed over sometimes. So what I basically have been learning also to do in this life is not to care, not to worry so much about how another person treats you. And if you are seen in this story or not seen, that actually really shouldn't really matter. So for example, if you were not chosen for a job or position, if you are not looked at as dating material, if you are not dateable, if you are not loved, try to use that to your advantage, because it's actually kind of kind. If somebody has passed you by, if a person took a diamond for a piece of glass, be absolutely okay that somebody has mal-identified you. And now this is a big question of ego. If you like you can put it all together. There are animals that have camouflage. There are animals, and most animals actually in the world have a certain part of solitary pursuits or solitary vision of life. And they don't want to necessarily mix, even those that live in a pack. A mixed way of life, trying to get to the top, trying to be the fighter or the alpha, is actually really dangerous here if you're not naturally an alpha. And being naturally an alpha also sucks. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. So basically, if you have been somehow chosen or put together as an alpha in a situation, for example, you've got the rule book and you are like, say, the only one who's the best at your job, or you are the only one who makes something happen, also be careful with that, because this can also put you on backwards. So the best idea is actually to be kind of in the ground, underground, underneath, with Lilith and South Node being there. It's not important what another person thinks about you. Don't give it all away. Don't share your bank details with anybody. Don't tell them like what you've got going on in your life. Don't wear that dress. Not because you can't, but just because you don't need to call so much attention upon yourself. You don't need to push your life forward, within which there could be like a toxic method of organizing yourself. Like, say, for example, keeping up appearances, constantly like having plastic surgery, for example, or constantly being around friends that don't necessarily like you, but they keep on bartering with you and such. So doing things that don't actually need to be done, and doing things that don't matter, and also being a part of people, groups of people, crowds of people that don't feel like anything, but you feel like it would matter to you later, eventually, they only understood who you were. If this person that you're trying to woo only imagined how amazing and perfect you are, though at the moment they simply won't. Try to be unidentifiable. I've talked a lot about this on Patreon, and if you like, have a look. But if you don't want to, that's okay. Unidentifiable people, people that are just like part of the crowd. Like, say, you can't spot a millionaire in the crowd for good, healthy reasons. Millionaires don't usually wear Louis Vuitton. They don't drive the most expensive cars you've ever seen. A millionaire will not act out in public. Usually, mostly, they will keep it quiet because they're trying to protect their perfect little dream. So the dreams, it's not just about this, whether you do not want to protect your dream, but understand that something in your life is perfect, because Libra does the maths really well. She puts things together, and yeah, it's a little boring, and it's a little bit hard on us sometimes to actually look perfection in the face, but she's going to eventually enable you or embellish you further if you are cool with who you are. She'll say, hey, you're cool with who you are. Awesome. Here's some respect. Wow, you're dressing better today. Okay, you're dressing more comfortably and cleanly and wisely. Well, wonderful. Here's some respect. Here is the next level, and the next level, and the next level. So Libra won't always give you the next level, but she is very willing. There is so much more where that has come from. If you love going to your grandmother's house, for example, with whom you have a perfect relationship, and having soup at her house for dinner, that's wonderful. You tell her that you really love the soup, and you actually grow in really conscious and heartfelt appreciation, respect. She'll give you more than you imagine. She'll keep on passing things on to you. She'll maybe like take things to your house, or bring you something. It's very, very nice. You can go and have infinite soup with your grandmother if you enjoy it. But not just that. Maybe you'll start to really understand women. To understand an elder woman, a sage woman, is understanding the world is understanding other women. So it's really risk-free. Maybe from having soup at your grandmother's house regularly, you will start to become better as a human being, and maybe you will make many amazing feminine friends, and through this you will start to really understand yourself and just the way that the world works. So one thing, a simple thing, if you are really appreciative and respectful of it, is going to give you so many more magical, perfect, and simple things. If you like to have peace, you will have more peace. And I can't say this enough. Sometimes the most beautiful time a person can have is just by themselves in this beautiful glow of life. You don't have to be anybody, you don't have to run around, you don't have to show off. You can just enjoy. And this very respectful and very golden time of Libra in 2024 is just basically about growing into greater enjoyment and into a greater sense of your home. It's growing into a greater sense of your style. It's understanding what the life that you're living is, and maybe it feels like an afterlife. Maybe it feels like you have just crossed over, and you don't need to stress out anymore. You don't have to be jealous. You don't have to be nasty. You don't have to follow somebody around. You don't have to be asked to be paid. You don't have to be asked to be loved. It's all there for you. Earth is all abundant and all is provided. And it's just about having some respect for that which God or life or nature has provided you so far. And by far the main basically reason to be humble and joyful is to recognize that as you are growing in connection with life, as you are growing with the beauty and the bounty of this life, and as you're becoming unquestionably seen and understood by yourself for that which you have naturally become and naturally manifested, and as you have become more kind and conscious with yourself, and as you become more wise and more conscious of how you're spending yourself and your time and everything like that, you are going to get a greater and more simplified life. And maybe the cause and effect will be laughably simple. It's like I don't even have to do anything. I just sign a couple of papers and everything lands in my my bank account. I don't even have to be anybody. I don't have to do so much to make it. I don't have to be that much to be happy. So it's just about laying the law. And Libra is the book of life. It is the Akashic records, you could say, or it is the written material behind your soul path, or the maths behind that which you're thinking, doing, feeling, and imagining. And she makes you very, very right as rain if you can just accept the obvious things, the obvious thinking pattern in your head. And if you don't want those anymore, you have to really be strong and write that into your book of life that you don't want that anymore. So for example, you have heaviness in your heart and you think about really shameful things, you have to just say no. It sounds laughable. It sounds like the dream is so much more than this, but that's just how it is. And that's what I found also kind of unique during my channeling for Patreon in the month of September. If you have a look at my Patreon. And it is very, very interesting as to what the dream really is and how simple it is to work with it. And of course, manifestation methods are real. Affirmations are real. Just trying to have respect for yourself is real. Prayer is real. Being comfortable with yourself and others is real. Being a good friend to somebody is real. Being a good friend to yourself is real. Seeing that less is more is wonderful. Seeing how perfectly everything is balanced out right now is grand. Just recognizing that you are perfect for who you are, as that which you are, and you've been brought up in a certain way. Or you've been given certain karmas by your ancestors, and that's also in a way a perfect life. Maybe actually you don't see this and you'll be like, this is laughable information, I'm going to switch it off right now, and you care. But it is very also important. I know it sounds too easy to be true, but it is also very important to understand, and this actually happened to me recently, and I had a huge ego things no, because it's been such a big part of my identity to feel sadness and to feel like somebody's done me wrong and to feel that my family has betrayed me or somehow done something incredibly bad. And then eventually just worked out that a spirit or guide told me everything adds up. Just relax and just be aware that everything is also made of love and there is nothing else you can do, and you just got to stop. So jealousy, judgment, oh woe's me, I'm not who I'm meant to be. I'm not getting the respect that I'm meant to be getting. I'm not enough also, or like I'll never be this or never be that, or something's always kind of like running away from you, or something like inside of you is hysterical and is always something that you don't have, or something that you're after, or you're not yet stable, or you're not yet happy, or you're not yet balanced. And all of these ideas basically have to be very succinct, and you just have to understand that even if you are in a very raw situation, even if your life can't get any worse than you imagine, that you're actually quite happy at the core of your heart. Many people in the world don't understand that, but to actually live in this dimension, you've got to have a certain love, light, and happiness inside of you. It is still inside of you, even if you like, I'm struggling. Even if you think that you're having the worst time in the world, there is always love inside you. In any case, in any shame or any sad place, there will always be love and light and God within. And you will never ever be able to break it or shake it or imagine it as not real, because love and life and love is forever, you guys. And it's like an eternal project. It's like an eternal thing, and it's like an eternal thinking pattern that we also are going to have to recognize that we are making during this time, because halfway through the month we have Mercury and Libra, and then he's going to go on to Scorpio. And Scorpio usually likes to put things together very strong and tough and really like sort of bundle them up. I have also Mercury and Scorpio. So it's going to be really hard to let go. So we need to be very, very nice and in pleasure and in peace while we can be. The nervous system is very malleable, and it can actually get used to the idea that all is love and that God is everywhere. It can get used to the idea that all is inside of itself. Happiness and magic lives in all things, and it is in all creation, and it's never been without. To understand that you are living a marvelous life, and to watch yourself grow and bloom and expand by the moment, just through your recognition that you are doing okay at least, and that you're actually like the star of your own show. It's absolutely fine if you don't believe, but maybe it is really good and worthy to take some time off during this Libra time, especially if you are stressed or stranded, emotional. And just to basically put this into the picture of your life, like your love life doesn't matter, your bank account doesn't matter, like how many countries you've been to doesn't matter, like what you do for a job never mattered. Just imagine yourself as a big golden light that's just like happy. Even if it sounds dumb, even if it sounds maybe low of me to suggest that to you. The whole idea basically is to be casually, happily well, and to recognize that there is no mediocrity anymore. There is just healthiness and different states of itself. So it's just about bringing yourself into this feeling of health and recognizing that even if you can't walk or you are debilitated in some way, that you are healthy, and telling yourself that you have absolute health. And that may not mean anything to you, but if you are familiar with different tools for manifestation and different tools for self-healing, you just fill yourself with love and be that for now. We won't have it this easy. This is probably once in a lifetime window, and one of the most fabulous, easiest months to improve on yourself. If you are really feeling like tired in your soul and you're not sure how to kick off the process of happiness, or how to make yourself go into the next dimension, and how to live on the frequency of love, if you really don't know, it's not about necessarily imagining it. It's just about knowing that you are love and recognizing it, and then allowing that sort of sneaky little feeling like, no, I'm not, allowing it to leave your life. Sometimes it is about letting a person leave your bed. Sometimes it is about letting somebody leave your timeline. Sometimes it is about letting people go. And quite often it is also about not having those things that you're keeping up, especially if you're constantly thinking about them, paying for them and such. And it's just about allowing the love that you feel to be your heart, allowing it to be your home, and allowing it to be your temple. So understanding and recognizing how far you've come, and that you are your own light also, that you are your own, and that you're in a really deep, special spiritual bond with who you are, and there is nothing else and nobody else, and everything else is just kind of like a portal or a meaning that you have somehow created because you found it significant. But in the end of the day, it's just yours. It's your time, it's your frequency, it's your energy, it's your self-esteem, it's your voice, it's your words, it's your emotions. And then starting to love yourself all over again as if you've never loved yourself before. And all those simple things count, like the fact that you can get up in the morning, you don't have a stiff back, fantastic. The way that you can walk into the kitchen and just switch on a light and, turn on the coffee maker and, it makes the coffee for you. And, your bedroom is beautiful and cozy and comfortable, and, the bed basically makes itself, and everything is so hypoallergenic and well put together, and you don't have any needs. You don't have any issues. If you don't have any real true issues, that's amazing, because some people really would during this time. And that's because of a certain bond or contract they have made within themselves. Sometimes in previous lives, sometimes, out of not knowing. So if you have here a very big trauma or a huge karma coming up to the surface, we need to believe in you. If you are in real debt, if you suddenly had just so much just go up in flame or so much go wrong, you need a commitment, you need a community. Maybe you need a partner or somebody in your life to put things together for you. And it's always nice to have extra in your bank account. It's always nice to have some kind of padding. It's good to have some kind of people around you to help you get things right. And if you've been seriously debilitated during Libra, which is possible for certain individuals, if you've had a very big shakeup, you have to have friends, family, community, or sometimes people in certain positions in life, in certain hubs that can help you. And it's usually better to be with a friend or somebody that you can trust and you can also imitate or imagine to be a lot like, or they could be a lot like you. So it is definitely about conformity. In some sense, it's about playing nice and also understanding how lucky you are that you are not between a rock and a hard place, understanding how very lucky you are that you are not noticed sometimes. Like say you're not noticed by the government, or you are not noticed for something that you've committed, or maybe you have not been noticeable for a really good reason. Like for example, how good it is like that, for example, you don't have a viral account on social media, how nice it is that you don't have that many friends or you don't have that many things to say. It's a really, really beautiful and stabilizing month. And then eventually it goes on to Scorpio. So let's talk about Scorpio. I also do have a birthday this month. I'll be 39. And I do have a moon and ascendant in Scorpio naturally. So it's going to be fun, and Saturn there as well. So the worst case scenario sometimes that happens as we walk into Scorpio is that we can't clean things up any further than we have, but they still keep on collapsing. We can't make any more friends than we've done, and we're still not having any friends take care of us. We're still getting a no from somebody or something. We're still feeling debilitated. And here is where the alchemist, that is Scorpio, starts to do the unthinkable. And this year around 2024, Dragon Year, is going to be a storm. It's giant. Scorpio is going to be like, right, I don't know how to do this anymore. And now Scorpio is going to become a very big master through this. If you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, have a look at my Patreon audios for Scorpio this month. But yeah, you'll need to really rein it in and have a look at how deeply perfect and pure you are, so you don't go into commitments that are not necessary or trauma states. Also, because we are looking at quite a divine base, very healing, very raw, very rustic, very emotional Scorpio time as we're going into November. And I have to remind you, it is nowhere near the end of the year, because the year begins in March and there's many people talking about it. I've been talking about it for almost a decade now. That's a long time. So there is no real need to worry and be so hungry. So if you can imagine, if you're hungry now in Libra and nothing is good enough for you, imagine how horribly hungry you might feel in Scorpio. So the idea basically is to cross a line with you. Tell yourself that everything's going to be all right and everything is exactly perfect as it is, and that there are laws and karmas as to why certain things happen in your world, and you have to just associate and be perfectly fine with that and say thank you and like love you, ho'oponopono if you want. Thank you, love you. This has been great. You can say goodbye to somebody as well. You can part ways. You can take yourself out of any subservience, any kind of wasteful thinking patterns, any kind of delusional thinking, any kind of delusional walking about and doing things in a very abrupt and unnecessary way. And you have to come back to yourself, come back to center. And as you walk into your own feelings, as you fall into your own arms, and Libra, as you understand that you've always been perfect after all, as the golden mean's already been reached, and maybe it is not as fabulous as what you see on TV, but it is actually kind of awesome. And as you see that your life works because of all those tiny little details and all of those tiny little commitments that you have during your lifetime, because of how well you look after yourself or your home or your kids or your partner, because of how well you are connected, because of how mature you've become over the years, because of what you really see as wise these days and what you don't see as wise, because of all of those millimeter changes, because of all of those little small commitments and all of those real truths, you have come out to be a pretty cool or maybe even a pretty perfect person. So the whole idea basically that I'm feeling during this time is to recognize that even if you don't think you are great and the world is being cruel, get it into your head that you are beautiful and that you are a glowing human being, so that when we hit the storm that is Scorpio, you don't lose your mind. So this is about, this is harsh, right? This is about pulling yourself outwards. This is about like fluffing yourself up like a pillow. If you did actually ever want to be beautifully treated, if you wanted to have a beautiful romantic story play out during Libra, it's wonderful. If you wanted to show up in your finest, if you wanted to be the best dressed, sure, within reason. It's a lovely time to be very well orchestrated and beautiful, and to have some very phenomenal very psyche expanding, centered way of looking at your life. It's a wonderful time to be alive. It's a wonderful time to also say no. And yes, it's a human time. It's a very gorgeous time. If you were like to write the book of your life again, if you were to commemorate yourself for something that you've done recently, if you were going to really like see how much it really cost, certain things, or how much time you've spent on something or somebody that didn't actually eventually come to fruition, also understand it. But it's just about the importance of things. It's about the golden mean. It's about mass experience as well in a community or a family tree. And it's about gorgeousness. It's about gold, gold, gold. Like the biggest, the best, and the most pure thoughts and feelings, and the most associative dreams, and about like the golden mean of that which the universe provides, being thankful for running water, being grateful for electricity, being grateful for the internet, being grateful for your friends and colleagues, and trying to fill yourself up like a cup, as much as you could possibly fill yourself up with just beauty and humbleness and care. And some people, may need to meditate. And certain people, they really don't like what is happening. There is a real reason why karma is happening in Libra. There is a big reason why. There's a huge reason. If anything really, really scary or sticky is happening in Libra, you need to see a helpful person. You need a psychic or a friend or someone to tell you what for they think it's happening, if it's actually happening during Libra. But otherwise, it should just be about standards of life, embedding who you are, understanding what you've done so far, and drawing a line or like a full stop. So that's very needed, so you don't need to over embellish that which you do. You don't have to scatter or scramble for suggestions. You don't need to mean anything more than you've ever done. It's just about meanings that have already come to be, come to term, and just like recognition of the finer things in life. Understanding also governments, because it is about law and order, which is a big trigger for people. Understanding group mentality and also group messes or group psychosis as also a perfect part of the past. We can't any longer keep on willing or wishing or judging or pushing or pulling. It's okay that things are as they are. And I know a lot of people will disagree, and they'll be like, well, you can be all that. You can be conformist if you want. I'm going to go and demonstrate. Okay, cool. Reach for the stars, you guys, if you want. If that is something that you've done for hundreds and thousands of years, if your family is a very transformational family, that's not too bad. But what if there is a way outside of psychosis and mania and mainstream karmas? And what if there are always people along your path lined up that will help you and heal you? What if there are also useful people, useful experiences? And yeah, sometimes it is like walking through several stepping stones, which is something that I talk a lot about on Patreon for the next month, for October. And it is absolutely okay to be a stepping stone for someone else. It's absolutely okay not to be in the spotlight all the freaking time. And it's absolutely all right to have a lukewarm experience in which you simply greet another person to a new possibility of life. So as you look at yourself as a book in a library, Libra library, as you look at yourself as a book of creation, as you look at yourself as a possibility, as one of the many, many billions of people, many, many people in the world, as you recognize who you are now and who you have to be. You basically have to be maybe sometimes very separate from other people or from another person. Sometimes you have to sort of put yourself together and kind of like preen your feathers and understand how good you are and how magical you've always been. And then when you are out there in public, you don't have to scream over other people and try to get the love that you're not giving yourself out of them and their storytelling. You don't have to get hysterical about what you are owed or like what you need to claim as a human being in this universe. The idea basically here is to become a little bit more wanted, loved, and needed by being absolutely okay that you're a book. And yeah, sometimes people will judge you by your cover. Yeah. So it's like, but no, I don't want to be looked at just as another human. I'm not just another human. You are another human. You're just one of many, many people. And it's not about making yourself any more than you are ready to be. And it's absolutely okay to be lukewarm and kind to another person. And the thing here is basically not to be looking for an extroverted, aggressive, or very unique reality with people, especially ones that you don't know yet, And the whole thing basically is just to become within yourself complete, because Libra is a sign of completion. It's already feeling achieved and feeling legitimized within your own self and within your own government, within your own self-government, within your own self-understanding, and maybe sometimes, sure, self-criticism, but you need to basically understand that everything about you is kind of perfect and legit. And life has shown you really who you are by now, as we are in a dragon year. The year is dragon year. And as you are basically looking at the book of your life, and as you are understanding as to who you are and who you've come to be and how far or how not so far you've come, you have a smile on your face. Understand the ironies of life. You got to be smart to meditate and contemplate. You have to be smarter than that. You have to also recognize the beauty and the philosophy that you are playing out in your tribe and your family tree, or just within yourself as an individual. And the main thing basically right now is to have a good, it's not necessarily selfish, it's not selfish, it's a good hearty feeling about yourself. And then if someone else tells you on the street or somebody you meet online that you are nothing, it never really was anything. And why would anybody say that? You don't need that initiation. You don't need that talk. You don't need that banter. You also don't need to be compared to other people or other men or women. You don't have to be measured up against someone else. But some people, unfortunately, on some level, will not do any more than they've done. And for certain individuals, it is really hard to stop the crisis of wishing to be made unique or curious or attention grabbing by other people. If you don't have anybody around you anymore and you are just really still and you feel very sane in your stillness and very sane in your own balance and in your own system, then, how come you're not there telling other people how to do it? Because it looks like you're a master. If you don't need anybody anymore giving you the gifts or, pulling you into sensual or romantic experiences or giving you any kind of attention, means you're completely done. And if you actually have no real genuine desire to compete with other people or to comprehend another person, it's very genuinely hard for that psyche, but it is also good to be a guru or a guide and to also leave this earth eventually, inevitably, by the end of it all, having shared all of your wisdom and having shared and being a support to others. But, I understand if that is a cycle that doesn't feel worthy for certain people. Sometimes it is just an internal conversation with God, and that is absolutely fine as well. So it's your choice as to how you spend your energy, your money, your time, and your experience. And also, if you're not feeling sane or satisfied with what life is and you don't feel very guided or supported, try again. If you don't feel very good about yourself or other people, try again, and try not to mask that smile that actually comes up when you're feeling that power from telling other people that you are nobody or nobody is anybody to you, because there's always going to be love, there's always going to be kindness and a genuine spirit to all of it in the end. And everything is love, and everything is brought into your world for the sake of experiencing love and life. And it is all a nurture if you allow it to be. And yes, it could also be initiating, it could also be hard and dark and strange if there's a reason for it to be, if there was hardship or darkness before and before and before. So it's just about not looking back and not also expecting those patterns to return, not to expect abuse anymore, or not to respect sad or lowly behavior from yourself or other people anymore, and to basically become all right about just the thought that it is a self-conspiring universe, and everything is going to grow and be even more beautiful if you allow it to be. So if you like, step this way. You can follow me on this if you want. Try to reach more and more, maybe independence, sure, during this month of October. Don't care about what other people are thinking. If somebody else is saying anything about you, it never mattered. Don't mind that. It's also very nice to feel a real rigid truth and faith in life. And it is also very healthy to grow and to imagine it being even more fertile and even more magical and even more beautiful. But not that you want it to be more. It's just that you are happy on this level that you are. And you are so happy that your energy is not going towards superficial wealth or superficial ideas or superficial ways to feel happy. It is just going towards the internal journey that we have, as we definitely feel good in our bodies, as we definitely feel good in our minds and our spirits. And as that is kind of like self-watering, it is like self-connecting, as that satisfaction, which is what Libra is, feeling of satisfaction. As you get there within yourself, you cultivate more and more energy, and you expand like a plant that grows with a bit more water, air, with a bit more nutrition. It just basically chooses to grow. So just about choosing to grow and not to coil and not to hold yourself back, and enjoying the plushness and also the memories, the perfect memories sometimes, or just some of the best times of your life could be actually had during Libra 2024. It's just whether or not you would like that or not. And eventually, as we go into Scorpio, it'll be more of the same, but there will be a stronger or harsher story for certain individuals. And in some cases, just going to be very much in pieces, as Scorpio will choose sometimes to apply surgery or to separate things, to put them together better. So yeah, I will be posting more videos closer to the time, and have a look at my Patreon as well if you like, as that is where it all happens. Thank you very much, enjoy, and I'll make sure that I prepare you for Scorpio when the time is right. Thank you. Bye.